Welcome back to day 2 of our Christmas Down Under tour here in Tasmania. Today we are exploring the stunning Bruny Island on our DIY trip. So I'll give you all the insight into the costs, what there is to do and our favourite spots. So without further ado, let's get into it. Good morning, we have just arrived at the Bruny Island ferry and it's cost us $56 for the car for return journey. So it's going to take us approximately 20 minutes and then hopefully we should arrive at Bruny Island safe and sound. The ferry runs 2 times an hour and you'll probably find yourself in a queue, so the earlier you get there, the better. But now let me introduce you to our flexi car called Chanel. So she's going to be driving us around for the day and it cost us $93. So not too expensive and a lot cheaper than if you were to book a tour with some other company. We've got lots of stops planned, from oysters, cheese and chocolates to unbelievable lookouts and beautiful scenery. We're just pulling off of the ferry right now and we're heading into our first stop, which is the bakery. It's going to take us approximately 30 minutes to get to the Bruny Bread Bakery fridge. And the reason that we've chosen to go here first is that the bread can run out pretty quickly, so that we don't want to be in that situation. But the drive has been incredible so far. Just look at how amazing the views are. Blue seas and mountainous areas with loads of forestry area too. All right, the first stop is the famous Bruny Bread fridges, which you can see just behind me here. There's no staff, no shop, just fresh sourdough delivered daily and an honesty box. Locals swear that this is apparently some of the best bread here in Tasmania. So as you can see, the weather is not great right now, very windy and a little bit rainy too, but here the 3 fridges are. So you basically just open up the fridge, take a look inside. I'll open this one first. And you've got bread. And then you've also got some sweet biscuit chocolates, which you can see at the top here too. And all the prices are sort of listed on them all. It's a really cool idea, to be honest. So the baker's obviously put a little time on the top for every time he does come and refill them. But what we're going to get is just 3 of the cookies and 2 of the breads. But they look really good. Just take a look at this bread. Looks delicious and I can't wait to take a chunk out of that. Cookies I'll show you in the car because it's tipping it down. There's the $20 which we have spent. We'll put it into the honesty box right here. So $5 per loaf and then it's 3 of these cookies for $10. So now it is time to give the sourdough a try. It's actually really reasonable for a freshly baked sourdough. Look at the size of that too. Only £2.50 if you're from the UK. You don't get that in the UK, definitely. But let's break this up and see what it's like. It's so soft, you can tell it's like nice and fresh too. Oh, look at that. That looks delicious. Later on, we're actually going to a cheese place, so hopefully I can have some bread with cheese later, but let's see what it tastes like now. That was good. We didn't have any breakfast, we only had a Tim Tam. So to have some of this nice warm bread, delicious. 4 minutes later and we've arrived at our next location, the Bruny Island Chocolate Company, which you can see just behind me here. So they're known for their handmade chocolate and fudge that is made in small batches, and they're famous for their slow made fudges, which can take days to get the texture perfect. But we're not allowed to actually film inside, so we'll go inside, get some fudge to try, and then we'll try it out here. We've just been inside and there was loads of options, different truffles, and then obviously the fudge, which we had to get. And we also got ourselves some chocolate speckles, which they actually named freckles. So it'll be interesting to see if they taste as good as the Haigs, because Haigs doesn't do white chocolate, whereas they did white chocolate. So I'm looking forward to trying some of those. But on video right now, we're going to try some of the chocolate orange fudge, because chocolate orange is definitely one of the elite flavours. But I need to try and find now how to get into this. It's definitely not the easiest of packagings to get the fudge out. Well, one thing they could definitely improve on is the packaging, because that was not easy to get out at all. But it's got like a solid top and then a soft bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but let's give it a try. That's pretty good fudge, to be fair. I'll give that a solid 9 out of 10 for fudge. In terms of the price for the freckles and for the fudge, it came to about $12.50. which I'd say is fairly reasonable. But our next stop is going to be the Lighthouse. We were going to do that one before this, but we decided to do it after because it was raining before. but now it has cleared up. So it's going to take us about 37 minutes to drive there. So I'll see you there. So our next stop is very cold and windy, but we've made it to the Cape Bruny Lighthouse, which you may be able to see up there in the distance. So we're going to head our way up there right now, but there's car parking just over there, and then it's a trail path to the top. But let me tell you a little bit about the lighthouse. So it is one of the oldest lighthouses here in Australia, built in 1838, and it is actually still operational today, which is quite cool. It actually sits on the most southerly point of Tasmania too, so technically we're right at the bottom of Australia now, which is cool. But it's a nice and easy walk up to the top. It is just very cold and windy. And it looks like there's a museum just over there too, if you wanted to learn a little bit more about it. You can actually do tours of the lighthouse. I don't know whether it just comes with the package for the people who are doing the actual tours, or whether you can just do it separately, but we just saw a group go in and they're going to head all the way up to the top of the lighthouse in just a second. But so you've got an idea of how windy it is. We're currently stood behind just like one of the buildings just outside the lighthouse, but if I stand over here, I'm getting battered right now by wind and rain. It was a minute ago like raining loads, and it felt like hailstones. It was that strong. But my face is freezing just from standing there for like 5 seconds. But now we're gonna head back down, but hopefully we won't get blown off the mountain. So everyone actually told us that the best time to come to Tasmania was during Christmas / the summer, because apparently it gets very cold in the winter. Now, I don't know whether to believe them, because it is freezing right now and it is summer, but the blue skies have come out, so it was tipping it down up there, and now all of a sudden the blue skies are back. But it's funny because this whole series was meant to be about Christmas down under in the heat, and so far it is just as cold as it would be in the UK. I think we got a bit unlucky because it is now blue skies outside of the lighthouse. It stops raining and the wind is still quite windy and cold, but it's definitely not as bad as when we were up there. So we've just been driving for about half an hour now, and we saw a sign for a cookie fridge, and here it is. So we're praying that there are still cookies left. We bought so much food already, but we are praying. Here we go, let's see what it's like inside. Oh, good things inside, one sec. Still might be okay, we still might be okay. We're sad. There were no cookies, unfortunately. What's it say? 8 AM till 2 PM, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we're not here on a Friday, Saturday or Sunday, are we? No, unfortunately not. So wishful thinking, micro bakery and coffee cart, it says. Friday, Saturday. Oh no, that's at the Luana Hall. So they must be doing stuff here. Wishful Thinking Company. It's $6 each, it says. But unfortunately for us today, there are no cookies. We've now arrived at Adventure Bay, so I'll take you over there in just a second. You'll notice again, there's loads of parking behind me. It's all completely free, and at each of the stops, we've had that so far. But we decided to take the forest route on the way here, and I definitely do not recommend it unless you have got a 4x4. There was one cool thing. We did see a wild wallaby run across the road, which was pretty cool to see. But apart from that, I definitely recommend just taking the normal route, especially if you're not confident with driving. But now we're going to head our way in. It's a cool little globe there by the looks of it, but let's go and take a look at Adventure Bay. So this is actually a place with huge historical significance, and Captain Cook actually anchored here in 1777, so really long time ago. And if we're lucky, this is also one of the best spots to see the Bruny Island's rare white wallabies. So hopefully we get to see some of those. But you might be able to hear the sea in the background, and look at how amazing this is with the white sands and the blue seas. Got all the seagulls there too, but look at that. That is beautiful. Right, so we'll go and feel how warm it is, because it is stunning. It's so clear, and it's a little bit like Moana. I'm about to get drenched. It's freezing. I definitely won't be going in there. It's actually a lot warmer than the UK though, but it is still cooler. A lot cooler than the ones in Asia when we were going around like Thailand and that lot, but it is beautiful. Reminds me of Moana. It's like paradise. This stop also does have a lot of facilities. So in the background you might be able to see the cafe. It's also got a fuel station there too, and it's got a shop just around the corner, and then there are also public toilets if you need the loo. So Beth just filled up her water bottle at the cafe, and now it's time to head to our next stop. So on the way to our next stop, we've pulled up again to another one of these huts which has arts and crafts. So I'll bring you a bit closer. So starting off with all the like postcards and different pictures and stuff which you can send back to your family. It's got chutneys, it's got jams up there too. Then you've got some nice treats in the fridge. So you've got some vegan treats as well. So Beth's pretty happy with that. Some chocolate Anzac biscuits, cherry cake, they all look really nice. And then you've got other things like woven stuff here. You've got some cookbooks. So yeah, again, I'm loving that this is like sort of kicked off here in Bruny Island, because everywhere you drive now, you just see loads of these, which is really cool. You can just stop off on the side of the road, go get some stuff, but we're not going to buy anything here because we've already bought loads of food already. So these are the steps up to the Neck Lookout, which is one of the most iconic viewpoints on the island. So this narrow strait of land here connects both North and South Bruny. And during migration season, you can even spot little penguins crossing the beach. But we're now heading up to the top to see the main bit. So it's a little bit of a climb and it's very windy. I honestly don't think I've been anywhere as windy as this. When we're climbing up the stairs, it feels like being pushed to one side. It's actually crazy, but look at how amazing it is just behind me right now. So when we get to the top, it should look even better. So surprisingly, when you get to the top, it's actually not that windy at all. And it's probably because there's these hedges right here which are blocking the wind, but the neck looks amazing. It's weird though, because one side is like proper dark blue in colour, white sands, and then the other side is more of like a greeny side with sort of greyer sands. So really cool to see this. I wanted to take the drone off down here, but you can see by my hair just how windy it is, and I'm worried that it would crash straight away. I look like a nice gem right now, but we're making our way back down the steps to the car park, which is literally just down at the start. There's also toilets too, so that's another toilet stop if you need it. After a 4-minute drive from the lookout, we've arrived at our next stop, which is Bruny Island honey, home to the famous Tasmanian leatherwood honey. So one fun fact is that leatherwood trees only grow here in Tasmania, and it can take up to 70 years before they even mature enough to produce nectar. But now let's go take a look inside and see what it is all about. It looks a little bit busier around here. It seems that a few of the tour buses have arrived as well, so hopefully we'll be able to get inside and take a look. is quite busy in here, so I'll show you all the different types of honey which you can get. So you've got the honeycomb, you've got raw honey, candied honey, creamed honey, and liquid honey, but we'll go over there and give a couple a try. So we're now going to try a little bit of the famous leatherwood honey, and we'll start with the liquid honey first and see what we think of this. That's actually really nice and sweet. And now we'll try some of the raw honey itself. That's really nice. I definitely prefer raw honey to liquid honey. It was a little bit hectic in there as all of the tours seem to be in there right now, which isn't ideal, but we did manage to get a couple of tasters in like you saw, and we have bought a couple of things to try too. Starting off with the honey apple cider. So I don't know if it's a cider, but we'll give it a try at some point during the week. So you may see that one on another vlog. And then we also got some dark chocolate honeycomb, which Beth can have as it is vegan. So those two came to $23, so fairly reasonable. But again, all of these are like independent places, so it's going to be a little bit more pricey than a supermarket. So after a 3-minute drive, we have arrived at our penultimate stop, which is the Bruny Island Cheese Company. And one fun fact is that the cellar room is naturally temperature controlled by the island's cool climates, and they specialise in making cheeses from raw milk. So let's go inside and give some a try. We've got two cheeses to try. So we've got the C2, which is the famous one made from raw milk, and then we've also got the George, which is just a cheddar cheese. So we'll try the C2 first, see what we think of this. That's actually really nice. It's not too pungent a cheese, and it tastes pretty good too. And then we've got the second one, which is the cheddar. That's actually a really nice cheese too, but I have to say, I prefer the C2. So along with all the cheeses, they also sell a lot of stuff like IPAs, they've got rambles there too, lots of other drinks, and they have a bar, an area where you can sit and eat the cheeses. What's also cool is that you can actually see one of the cellar rooms here where they actually have big, huge wheels of cheese. And the one that we tried was actually 12 months old, which actually sounds disgusting, but it tastes so good. They actually do a couple of cheese platters. So you can do a 4 cheese one there with 3 condiments for $55, or they've got the Bruny cheese platter, which actually sold out today, but it's 3 cheeses and 3 condiments. But because Beth doesn't like cheese, there's no point in us having any of those today. So a 1-minute drive from the cheese company, and we have made it to our final destination, which is Get Shucked, which is known as one of Australia's most famous oyster farms. Now, these oysters right here have been grown locally in the area and are known as one of the cleanest shellfish in the world. So now let's give them a try. So we've been given some lemon as well to give it a little sprinkle of lemon. And we've also got Tabasco, but I will not be putting Tabasco on any of my oysters, otherwise my head will blow. But I've been looking forward to giving these a try, so let's see what we think of them and see whether they're really that good. I don't know when I last even tried oyster, so I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. The consistency is horrific, but the taste might be something completely different. That is very fishy, and it's quite nice with the lemon too. So I have to say, it's probably one of the nicest oysters I've tried, because I can't even remember the last oyster which I have tried. And now we have finished with our final destination, Get Shucked. And one cool thing which they've done, which is a good way of recycling, is use the oyster shells to make a path in behind me here up to the entrance. That's quite cool. But now we're going to get back into our FlexiCar Chanel, who's going to take us back to the ferry, and I'll give you a little summary of our day. We are now on the ferry on our way back to Hobart. We only had to wait 30 minutes in the queue, so it was actually a lot quicker coming back than it was getting to Bruny Island. But now let me take you through a summary of our day, starting off with the food. So we were able to try loads of delicious local cuisine, which obviously included the cheese, the honey, the oysters and the chocolate too. That all tasted amazing, so it's a great opportunity if you want to try all of those. In terms of the food places though, they are probably the busiest ones, especially towards the end of the day too, because all of the tours are dropped off there. But it is also good to note, if you are doing it yourself, that they sort of start closing between 4 and 5. I think the latest one is 5, but there was some that we saw that should have been closing at 4:30, but we're closing actually earlier than 4:30. Adventure Bay and the Lookout were absolutely stunning too, so you've got to go and visit those, but do make sure to bring clothes for all weathers, as it was freezing up in the high points and nice and warm down at the low points. So do bring jumpers and even a coat, because it can get quite wet and windy. In terms of the lighthouse, it was nice to go and see it. However, if you cut for time, or if you don't want to travel quite as far because it's a little bit out of the way from the other places, then I'd say just give it a miss. But that is going to be it for our Bruny Island adventure. So if you did enjoy, please do make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, as we've got plenty more vlogs coming out, and it goes a long way to supporting the channel as we look to try and grow. However, we are going to be checking out Hobart straight after this, so do stick around for that if you want to see what Hobart is like and where we go and get some food in the centre too. So we made our way back to the Travelodge Hobart City Hotel. So if you want to check out what the hotel's like, check the vlog out from yesterday. And now we are back out for the evening, and we've come down to the Franklin Wharf, which you might be able to see on the side there. So it's a really nice section of Hobart City, and they've got some nice restaurants too, and they've actually got someone playing the saxophone just over there too. It actually sounds really good, to be fair. But we're heading over for a Mexican this evening, so I'll show you what it's like once we get there. For food, we have come to Casa De Amor, which is a Mexican restaurant right on the coast, and the food looks delicious. But before we go through the food, let me show you what we've got to drink. So I've got the James Boggs Premium Lager, which is a Tasmanian lager, and you might be able to see the Tasmanian hills on the logo. It's pretty cool. And then Beth's got herself a cider. And then for food, I've got myself the red sauce enchilada, and Beth's got mushroom fajitas. They look delicious too. So let's give our red sauce enchiladas a try and see what we think of them. It kind of looks a little bit like a lasagna. So hopefully it's got a similar taste, because I love a little cheesy lasagna. That's actually really nice. I feel like I've never had like a red sauce enchilada before. Thankfully it's not too spicy, I did ask the question. But overall, I'll give that a solid 7.5 out of 10. The food came to $91.52, so a little bit more expensive than yesterday's meal, and I'd say probably not quite as good either, but it was still tasty, and it has filled us up before we head off to bed. So I'm going to end the vlog here. So if you did enjoy, please do smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all tomorrow with day 3 of our Christmas Down Under.